Hey YouTube, Outdoors Man here. Today I'm going to be discussing an issue which you've probably come across before if you've ridden a snowmobile for any number of years, and that is that when the weather fluctuates and gets nice and warm, your skis melt down to the ground, and then when the weather gets cold again and it continues to snow, you go for a ride only to find that your skis are still stuck to the ground because they're frozen there. So today I'm going to be showing you in this quick video how to get those skis unthawed and get you back on the trails. So first I'm going to discuss some things that you shouldn't do. So you want to be cognizant of the fact that your snowmobile skis are made out of hard plastic, but they are in fact just that, plastic. So if you start reefing up on your skis at either end too hard or try to drive the sled away with the skis still frozen to the ground, you run a good chance of breaking your skis off, and that can be a costly problem that you don't want to have to deal with when you're trying to go for a ride. So the best way to fix this issue is to use hot water. You don't necessarily want to use boiling water because again, you run the risk of damaging your skis as well as damaging the ground underneath depending on where your sled is parked. So go ahead and start by doing that. So what I've got here is I'm just going to start with some warm water. It's not boiling, but you're just going to take it and you're slowly going to pour it onto the ski and down the sides of the ski where it meets the ground. And you want to try to focus on the parts where the ski is making contact with the ground. So from this part here to this part here, as the ends aren't going to be frozen to the ground, they're just sitting slightly above it. So you can pour a liberal amount of water on there, but again, just be cognizant that this water is going to freeze and create more ice. So you want to continue working on your skis while you're pouring the water on, and don't let it sit for too long, or you're just going to end up with more of an issue than you started with. Now that we're waiting for that other side to start working, take some of our hot water, put it on this ski here. You can kind of hear the ice cracking as you pour the hot water on. Now after you've let that water sit for a period of time, usually about 5 to 10 minutes, again making sure that that water is not starting to freeze depending on what temperature it is, you can come down on the ski and kind of gently pull up. You'll kind of start to hear that snow and ice cracking away as we pull up on it. This one's not quite ready yet, we'll give it some more time. One other trick that you can use is to use a chisel and a hammer to get that hot water to go underneath the ski and start melting the ice that's actually underneath. But you need to be really careful with this because you can not only damage your ski, but you can also damage your grass. So depending on where it's parked, and depending on how frozen it is, you may or may not want to try this. What I'm going to do is just kind of slide the chisel underneath the ski and hit it with a hammer. And that's just going to allow a little bit of a space for that water to flow down underneath that hot water. And get to the ice that's underneath. And you want to focus the tip of that blade into the grass and obviously not into the ski because you don't want to damage your ski while you're doing this. After you've done that, you can come back and pour a little bit more water in there. Let that water get right down underneath the ski. Now after you've waited a few more minutes, I'll try it again. And there you go. Your ski is freed up. Another thing you can do is you can also use a hairdryer or a heat gun along the ground as well. That will also help to speed things up depending on how frozen your machine is. And last but not least, we want to prevent this from happening again before our next trip. So what you're going to do is, once you get that ski unthawed there, you're going to want to put something underneath of it. So you can use a piece of wood, some bricks, basically whatever you got lying around if you're going to be storing it outside. So in this case, I'm going to be using some bricks and then probably a piece of wood, just to lift that ski off the ground and keep it out of contact with the grass. And then it should be a little bit easier to get loose next time I want to go for a ride. So like I said, this time I'm going to start with a brick. Try to slide it under there as best as I can. And then I'll do the same to the other side. that. And that's all there is to it. I hope this video helped you. If it does, please give it a like and remember to subscribe to my channel.